This content is produced by DarkNetBreaker, a cybersecurity and dark web education brand. All videos, posts, and content are strictly for educational and awareness purposes only. We do not promote, support, or encourage any illegal activity. Our mission is to expose digital threats, protect online users, and educate the public about cybersecurity risks in the modern world. Stay ethical. Stay protected.
This is the digital grid of 2026. Security teams no longer defend a simple, static perimeter. They are responsible for a sprawling network of cloud infrastructure, APIs, and millions of active Internet of Things devices. In this environment, threat actors rarely rely on a single flaw. They execute attacks by finding a minor misconfiguration in one system and using it to pivot into another, chaining these vulnerabilities together to reach deep into the network. For an ethical hacker, the challenge is finding these connections before an adversary does. They have to map out the attack surface to locate hidden flaws that aren't visible through standard, isolated checks. Stopping a breach like this requires more than one piece of software. It takes a mastery of a highly integrated toolkit where different frameworks work together to test every layer of the defense. Since these threats rely on vulnerabilities that are chained together, catching them requires walking through the exact chronological lifecycle of an attack, from the first probe to the final breach. The process begins with reconnaissance. This is the stage where a tester maps the target's attack surface to identify active assets and exposed entry points. The primary tool for this is Nmap, or Network Mapper. It interrogates the network's protocol stack, sending probes to detect which ports are open and what services are running. To remain undetected, testers use a stealth scan. As you see, the scanner initiates a connection, but immediately drops it with a reset packet, avoiding security logs. When targeting global enterprises, MassScan supplements this, probing thousands of IPs at once. Precision during reconnaissance is vital. If a tester misidentifies the network architecture here, every subsequent attempt to exploit the system will fail. Once the entry points are found, the focus moves to the web application layer. Modern portals and APIs require attackers to intercept and manipulate traffic as it flows between the user and the server. Burp Suite is the standard tool for this. It establishes a man-in-the-middle choke point, allowing a tester to capture every request a browser makes. The proxy physically pauses web traffic in transit, creating a moment to inspect and modify data. From this paused state, the tester can mutate the data, injecting thousands of variations into a single variable to probe the server for errors or unauthorized access. Automated network scanners often overlook these types of flaws. Intercepting the traffic allows a professional to expose business logic errors that are only visible when the application is in use. Finding a vulnerability is a theoretical risk until you can prove its technical impact through exploitation. The Metasploit framework provides the modular architecture to do this. It allows a tester to pair a specific exploit with a payload, the actual code that will execute on the target system. This animation shows an advanced payload called MeterPreter. It avoids the physical disk, using reflective DLL injection to run entirely within volatile memory. Because nothing is written to the drive, it is invisible to antivirus, granting the attackers system-level control over hardware. Gaining an initial entry point is only one part of the process. True exploitation is about establishing a stealthy, persistent foothold within the underlying architecture. After the initial compromise, the attacker needs to move laterally across the network. To do that, they need to capture legitimate user credentials. For active login portals, testers use THC Hydra. It performs rapid, parallelized brute force attacks, testing thousands of password combinations against live services like SSH or HTTP. If the tester extracts encrypted password hashes, they use Hashcat for offline cracking. This tool uses GPU acceleration to test millions of combinations every second. It applies rules to common words, adding numbers or changing cases, until the cryptographic hash is perfectly matched. Even with advanced encryption, the human tendency to use predictable passwords remains the most effective way to achieve a total network compromise. The ethical hacker's job isn't finished once the system is breached. They must synthesize all the data from the attack into a report that shows the organization how to patch the flaws. In 2026, the workflow is changing. Artificial intelligence now accelerates the reconnaissance and reporting workflow, processing scan data faster than a human could manually. AI copilots like Pentest GPT can ingest raw network data and suggest the most probable exploitation paths, helping testers navigate complex environments with much higher velocity. But AI has limits. While it can process data at scale, it cannot yet validate the high-level business logic errors or the specific organizational risks that a human expert can identify. Technical skills are only part of the equation. The human operator's speed and precision with this toolkit is what ensures these vulnerabilities are found and patched before